What's going on, guys? Philip at Trade Genius. All right, we're going to do a Bitcoin update. It seems like Bitcoin always does some crazy stuff, whether it's overnight while everybody's sleeping or it's during the holiday or whatever. But Bitcoin had a nice move up. We're going to talk about where we've gone since we last updated you on Bitcoin and talk about the levels now that are in play, because this is actually a pretty strong move for the bulls. So we'll look at the daily, we'll look at our hourly chart. I want to show you guys what they're currently doing, whether it's the algos run in the buy programs, but you can see it clearly on the hourly chart. We're going to talk about that. And we'll also look at our delta chart because we're getting the bullish change that we talked about in the last video. And today is expiration day for Bitcoin. The CME expires today and actually has expired as of this video. So we'll talk about the expected move there. And we'll also look at the internals because I think I want to show you guys how this has been playing out with regards to price. I think you'll find it beneficial. And last but not least, we're going to take a look at our internals and specifically on-chain data. We're going to look at how the miner capitulation is going. We are in day 11 of that. So we'll dive into that in this video. Guys, just a reminder, we are running our Black Friday specials. Like we said, if you want to join us in the room, $2.99. That also applies to renewals. That gets you into the room with us and our signals that we call out. And if you're interested in our Moneymaker indicator software, you can get this package. Again, this is 12 months. So really good value on there. If you're new to this and you need training, of course, we have our training packages as well. So, or if you need the whole kit and caboodle, we have that as well. Anyway, check that out. That's good. These prices are only good for this month, this time of year. And this current special runs out in just over a day. So I encourage you guys to check that out. All right, guys, let's dive into this video.
Trade Genius.
All right, guys, looking at the daily chart, obviously we're in a down channel, and in hindsight, it looks pretty simple, but sometimes it can be a little tricky. Like if you got in here, you'd expect a bounce, right? But then it rolls over one more time. So there's that kind of stuff to deal with. I do like the fact, remember we said, look, watch the stochastics and when they start to turn up, and that's what happened here. When they're tight like that coming down, we like that. That's a very bullish setup, and we did get a bounce. So daily-wise, this has done what you would expect, bouncing off the trend line. You know, obviously the question now is this going to be the low that holds this pullback? If you look at where we are in the scheme of things with the fib ratios, you'll notice we're still in that range that we've been stuck in, and nothing too overly bearish, really. If you look at this entire move, this being the A move and then the B move into a C move, you know, we really haven't violated any fib levels in that regard. The 0.705, 63.19 or 63.20, you know, that would really be, if we got a daily close outside of that level, then I'd start thinking about whether or not the structure is valid anymore. But so far, this doesn't change any of that. And now what we do is we look for areas where this can stall out, either go sideways or retest some of this move that we've moved up in. And we're going to get into that here in a little bit. But we do have a moneymaker buy that fired on that. So we're in a moneymaker buy condition as opposed to a sell condition. So the dips are to be bought in the interim. Now, I told you guys we're going to look at the hourly, and that's what we're going to do. If you notice here, what's happening, and best just to just draw this, but basically what happens is you come down, okay? You come down, they call that like a bear flag, right? And then we notice we'll get the hourly stochastics to cross, and you'll start to see a move up. So essentially you're bull flagging here, okay? Hourly crosses over here, these stochastic RSIs cross up, and you get a move up. Then what they do is they roll it over, okay? Roll it over, they take out these lows, and then they spike you back higher. Okay, that's very typical scammy market maker action. So the same thing happens here. Come up, bull flag, you get your stochastic RSI cross, then you move up. What do? They take out that low, they come down, they tap it, and they move higher. So, you know, a lot of times you'll see 3 drives, and so this is our third move now. Okay, we've got another sell pressure indicator, which we'll throw in on those Black Friday signups if you get that package number 3, right? So here's your bull flag. We'd be looking for in a few hours a cross up, and so you get like a you know, basically a move up like this again. That actually would, you know, get everybody, see in these moves, it's like everybody's getting long because you've broken up and out, right? And they come back down, they sweep these lows. So I'd be looking for once this cross happens, where is this low going to be? So this is your short-term stuff. And then watch out for a sweep of those, because these are very tricky, right? Once it rolls over, it looks like that's it, party's over, and time to get short, and they reverse it real hard on everybody. So they're really getting everybody off base here and taking advantage of catching the stops, because you get stopped out because you were long, and they grab that liquidity because they want to fill their bags, right? And the ultimate move is up, and they get filled. You get stopped out. They take your size and position and profit higher. So that's the moneymaker games that go on. Going to our futures delta, and we had it shift to the bluish background. That means it's, you want to buy the pullback. So the first thing you do, buy the pullback generally to the quicker moving average, which was the dip down there to 7,400, and then you get that bounce off of that. And you can either play those or try for a longer term position hold. Because we're coming off of the Delta Zero type of bounce, generally speaking, you can hold those for a larger move. And we are starting to get this activity where we're kind of dribbling along that zero delta. So the one thing that this is a good move, we've come up, we had an inverted head and shoulder that actually held. Last time we were in a zero delta that kind of ran along that zero line, you'll notice we made a move up, couldn't quite clear that slower moving average, which is the difference here. We did clear that. So I'm not expecting this to roll over and test these bottom levels like we have over here, because we cleared that. And looking actually to, on this particular move, a move back toward the 200 period moving average on the 4 hour. So that's going to be where I would say that the big chunk of this move exhausts probably at that point and tags that. And then we get a rest. I don't think the entire move is over, just this leg goes up there, tags that level, and takes a breather. But always bullish coming off of these zero delta levels. So for short-term stuff, you can look at whenever price retreats back to the WMA 20 on the 4 hour, buying that. And at some point, that's going to punch through and hit that slower moving average. That's just what they do. So the next time the slower moving average, you can work buy orders along with this as well as it's rising. Adjust those up. That's the WMA 65. And that's going to be a good probability buy if that pulls back. So buy the dip mode on our delta indicator. And we share this in the room. And those of you going to Orlando will have access to this indicator. We're going to open up access for the first time on this indicator. So check that out. We have entered expiration on the CME futures. That's these red lines, last Friday of the month. And so here we go. And typically what we've been seeing is a dip into that last Friday of the month and then a bounce. So we saw that back here. So this is August, dipping in the month, bounce. Even back in July, dip into the month, bounce. So we've seen that 1, 2, 3, 4, going on 5 times. We got an early bounce this time. Now I think you need to be open to where we might see some shenanigans. In other words, don't be surprised if we see a bit of a pullback, right? And then another move up. I would not be surprised if we saw that. And I would be looking for the levels at this point, guys. What I'm seeing with the bids and everything, I think a pullback will hold anywhere between 7,200 and 7,300. We get a dip there. I think that would be a big time buy, but I don't think we see that. I think at first, the first thing short term now, I think we're going to see a move, if anything, a quick dip down into the 7,600s. And then we're going to see a move back up, and then a possible sweep again of those lows. When you see this reversal, if you get one of these reversal type moves, this is probably going to take us to 8K. All right. And that's probably going to chill for a while there and consolidate. Maybe we'll get another move down a little bit, a larger move, and then back higher. We do have the potential to start getting back into the 9s and 10s off of this market structure that we're putting in. So, but we're just talking like shorter term stuff here with the week ahead. We could see a pullback from this initial move now that we've gotten through the CME expiration. All right. So last thing I want to leave you guys with is our on-chain data. And our on-chain data is showing us that we're still in the capitulation mode, meaning that the hash power, the moving averages that would indicate that miners are pulling stuff offline, that those bands they were getting wider and then a little bit narrower. They are starting to narrow up, and this is starting to turn up. So I'd say give this another week. But once this completes, once this moving average inversion completes, I think that's going to be a high probability that the low is in this area. So we're keeping an eye on that. One last thing I forgot to tell you guys is the internals. So one thing to keep in mind, internals are kind of real short term. So if you're looking at swing trades on the 15 or 30-minute chart, internals are good to see where we're going. This is a 30-minute chart. And whenever things go red, these red lines, that's indicating that guys are net short, the crowd's net short, and usually what you'll see is a move counter that position. The other thing we like to look at, and that's vice versa for the green line too. If you see a green line, that's that means that you're probably going to see a short-term move against that. And sure enough, like here, for example, you see that. Okay, so that's just something to keep in mind. The other thing we look at is these orange lines. It's the premium index on BitMEX, and it's either trading at a premium or at a discount. If it's trading at a premium, that's also another indication that the crowd's bullish. And if you notice when the things are above the zero line, what does price do? Down, 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 down. Okay, flips to a negative value, meaning that it's trading at a discount. And then what does price do? Bottoms out, starts going back up. So it's good to keep tabs on this. And again, this is, you can get this BitMEX funding indicators, and that's readily available on TradingView. The other thing I like to look at too is the volatility. If it gets below 1.9, which we haven't seen, we had a few dips there and we were getting some of these BART-like moves out of those low volatility areas. We're not currently seeing that right now. It is starting to simmer down. We're getting less and less volatility readings, and that will eventually get back under 1.9, and then you'll want to watch out for these BART moves. So it's good to have this stuff if you're an active trader on the dashboard. And currently right now what we're seeing is continued premium index being negative. So that means it's going to look, this is going to be bullish, and if that flips, then we'll start looking at this move up to cool its jets. Maybe we'll see a bit of a pullback, corrective pullback off of this bottom. But currently this is pegging that sentiment pretty well. Just keeping that in mind. All right, guys, well, that's it for this video. I just wanted to kind of give you guys what I thought were the pertinent facts as far as, price action. We do have that Plus token. As soon as I get more data on the Plus token wallets, I will update you. That's been, they've been dumping on the market, and I think that's been contributing to why we've seen, ever since we've pulled back here, continued bearishness, especially like stuff like this. Just a lot of supply to be dumping, a couple 100,000, give or take, 180 to 200,000 by estimates of Bitcoin dumping since August. And as you can see, we've been pretty bearish since then. So these pullbacks, now we're at over 50% pullback, which is steeper than usual at this point in the cycle. But don't discount the proximity that we have toward that May halving event. People might get lulled into thinking, you hear a lot of like, oh, we're going to 5K, or we're going to 3K. That's starting to permeate. And I really just think that's way too bearish because we're so close to halving. So just keep all that stuff in perspective. All right, guys, that's it for this video. Please hit like and subscribe. Really helps out our channel. And I will catch you on the next one. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
Trade Genius.